Okay, I am in Florida right now vacationing with my family, and I wanted to get this video in pretty much explaining that this consultation is going to go through basically the rib remodeling consultation part with Dr. Azizi. Also, I'm going to have the reverse tummy tuck as well with him. So he's going to go through the main parts of that, and also I'll put out the part 2 as well for the post-op care that Dr. Azizi explains to me as well. So don't forget to like and subscribe.
What? Sit on the chair. Sam, what's up? You sit in the hot seat. Sit in the hot seat. Have a seat on the hot seat.
Okay.
All right, man. What is going on?
All right.
Usually, I talk to people about like, they already sent the photos in, this and that, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna talk about surgery. We're gonna talk about what you're looking for, goals, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. But you've been talking to me about what you want for a long time.
Yes.
So there's no surprises.
No surprises.
So we're just gonna go through it all.
Okay.
All right. So what I was gonna do is kind of go through your medical background here.
Okay.
And there's not too much there. And then
Don't judge me.
No, it's fine. Standard stuff.
Okay.
And then we'll talk goals. We'll talk about body. We'll talk about recovery.
Okay.
Important, yes.
Very important.
And the only thing you may not need is massages, actually, interestingly enough. But you're probably going to do them anyway, right?
Of course I will.
All right, awesome, dude. Awesome. So, concerns. What are we here for? What are we trying to do?
Okay, so my concerns are when I had lipo 360 from my just a little bit underneath the belly button is where they lipoed me from. So like the fupa area, it was not lipo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care about the fat there, but the elasticity in the skin is something that I'm concerned with. So if we could just lift that up a little bit and make it a little tighter, smoother, and there's a crease that I have, so that is a concern.
We'll take a look. Creases above the belly button, below?
Above
Okay.
on the right side.
Okay. Obviously, we're trying to get a narrower waist.
Yes.
That's why we want to talk about
Yes,
ribs
and
and
that
stuff
is
too.
greedy. That is my vanity.
No one needs
Right,
rib
right.
remodeling, you know what I mean?
And-
But
and
we want to
I'll-
have narrower waist. So what are your
Yeah.
thoughts? What are you trying to just narrow waist? What are we thinking?
Yeah, narrow waist.
Okay.
Just bring it in.
Okay.
I mean, I don't need, I'm not saying bring me in 5 inches or anything like that, but if you can, give me a smaller waist, that would be great.
All right.
Okay.
Well, the good news is you're low BMI, which is awesome. So under 25 BMI is good for rib remodeling. Can you go up to 28 BMI? Yes, but you're smaller, which is good. The fact that you had lipo in the past may actually help us in some ways, meaning that there's a little bit less thickness that we have to deal with. Okay, well, that's good. Okay. Sometimes it can make things a little harder just because there's a little bit more scar tissue in that area.
Right.
So it's kind of like a plus minus. That's fine. We'll take a look.
Okay.
And you may have heard this from my Instagram story, but basically it can reduce 10 centimeters, which is around 4 inches of the waist, which is awesome.
Okay.
Usually, so we would plan on sending you for a CT of the ribs, so we can get a 3D reconstruction of the ribs. That's part of the pre-op planning.
Okay.
All right.
Not too bad?
No. All right. So I agree. Definitely, we had a little bit of laxity, kind of above and below the belly button. I agree that it's a good amount above the belly button that's hanging out. The creases aren't too bad. Certainly we've seen worse. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know if it's necessarily fibrosis, but more it's probably you get a little stretchiness laxity, and then you do lipo, and then things kind of they don't snap back, they kind of fold up a little bit,
Yeah.
So if we tighten things, that will help a lot of this stuff to just look so much better. Let's take a look at the mirror here, and so we can both be kind of looking at the same thing. So I'm guessing why don't you tell me what your thoughts, concerns are?
This here,
All right.
my belly button's a little sad.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
if you could,
Do what you've
That
been
would be-
doing for the last 3 years,
Yeah.
and just kind of doing this to yourself.
that'd be great, right?
Yeah.
That would look better.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that that upper abdomen skin excision, or they call it reverse tummy tuck, is good. We usually do dissect all the way down to the belly button to kind of help release these things. If you have these little...
What do you mean dissect all the way?
So I don't just take the skin here and just pop it up here.
Okay.
I actually have to open things up all the way down to the belly button
Okay.
to release it.
I understand.
Why is that good? Because if you have little things that are sticking down and sticking down and sticking down here, these creases that you don't like because they're stuck down to your your fascia and your muscles.
Yeah.
If I go in there and I release them, that allows me to pull the whole thing.
Okay.
But you can see this crease here is pretty well hidden,
Okay. Yeah, tuck that in there.
Yeah, so I would probably start it right about here and take it to about here. If anything, we want to cheat that scar a little bit more up this side because it's a lot easier to hide this stuff than this stuff here.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So then well, how much do we need to pull to make a difference? Usually about, so this would be pulling an inch, and then maybe 1.5 to 2 inches, and that would help things to be much better.
Okay.
I think that's worthwhile. I think it would make a huge difference for you.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth the incision kind of going across here on both sides. Where are your ribs? If you want to look at the mirror here, yours are about 12, 11, and 10. So you're right about here. So this is about where we'd be getting that narrowing effect, which is awesome. If you look straight there. So I think that'd be good. I mean, like, you're very small right now, so even, you know, a few more inches off that would be a huge difference, which is awesome.